So in today's video, we got to talk about the redistricting battle happening right now in Virginia and the Democrats' hypocrisy being on full display. You see, according to them, when a state redraws its maps in a way that politically benefits the party in power, that's rigging an election. That's undermining democracy. That is completely 100% unacceptable. You even had Barack Hussein Obama speaking passionately about not allowing this very thing to happen just a few short years ago. But color me shocked. Now Democrats are trying to do exactly that in Virginia, all because Texas decided to play the same game that many deep blue Democrat states have been playing for years. And so we got a lot to break down and get into. As always, if you do enjoy the content, smash that thumbs up button. That's the best way you can let me know. Subscribe to stay locked in with future content. Let's get right into it.
It's bait and switch. I think she is the personifies this bait and switch. They go on and say these real nice things and use words like fairness and all these other things.
The titles are confusing.
But the moment they get into office, what do? Yeah, they want to have this confusion out there. But fortunately, Senator Kaine went on and actually said the hard part out loud. They want to make it 10-1 because they hate Donald Trump, because they think 100% of the people don't like Donald Trump. It's not about Donald Trump. It is about fairness for Virginians and making sure that their representatives are elected by the people based on maps that are currently in place.
Hello, I'm Governor Abigail Spanberger, and I'm voting yes on Virginia's redistricting amendment. Here's why. I supported the formation of Virginia's bipartisan redistricting commission in 2020, and that support has not changed. What has changed is what we're seeing in states across the country, and a president who says that he's, quote, entitled to more Republican seats before this year's midterms. That's a direct quote, entitled. And Virginia has the opportunity to take action in response. And our approach is different. First, it's temporary. Second, it's directly in response to what other states decide to do. Third, and most importantly for me, it preserves Virginia's fair redistricting process into the future.
And so what just happened right there, you heard the Virginia governor, Abigail Spanberger, who many voters are finding out exactly what a moderate Democrat looks like. That's what she ran on, but not so much so. She's very much far left, go figure. And what you just heard right there was her speaking about how now she is for gerrymandering. She's for the redistricting because it's all about stopping Donald Trump. And why does that matter? It matters because this is the Democrat Party's playbook. It's been their playbook for years now. When all else fails, let's just repackage, redistribute it in a different way and remix it somehow. And when you always get down to the core of it, it's always about stop Trump. And what's wrong with what's going on right now is that they're working overtime to convince Virginia voters that it would be in their very best interests to vote to silence nearly half of the voting public in the state of Virginia. During the 2024 election, Donald Trump, while he did not win the state, it was very close. 52% for the Democrat Party, 46% for the Republican Party as far as how Virginia went in the 2024 election. And so we're talking about a close race. We're talking about a state that is split down the middle, but yet Democrats are working to silence the Republican Party in the state of Virginia. And so in this next clip, let's get a little bit more information as far as what's going down in Virginia and actually some responses from voters themselves. Take a listen.
Early voting is now closed, and Tuesday, April 21st is your last chance to weigh in on this special election.
So early voting is very important for me, for the busy lifestyle that I have. So.
Voter John McKay said he made it to the polls just in time.
Well, on the very last day of the very last hour, it's 20 minutes before voting.
But if you're saving your vote for Tuesday, here's what's on the ballot and why it matters. Voters are deciding on a proposed redistricting amendment that would temporarily redraw Virginia's congressional map, potentially shifting a nearly even split to a 10-1 Democratic majority. Supporters say it would help level the playing field, while critics say it's unfair. If approved, the changes would last until 2030. Democrats, including Senator Mark Warner, are urging a yes vote, saying it's a response to maps drawn in other states that they argue favored Republicans, pointing to states like Texas and North Carolina.
To level the playing field, and at least in Virginia, it's not going to be the politicians, it's the voters decide. So I think this one-time, short-term change, we'll go back to independent in 2030. I think it makes sense.
Republicans, including former Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, are urging a no vote, arguing the proposed map is an overreach and unfair.
Virginians aren't happy with this. And the big opportunity for all of us, Republicans, Democrats, independents, is to stand up and say, no, we're not going to gerrymander Virginia.
At the polls, voters told me regardless of where they land on the amendment, showing up matters.
It's very important to exercise the right to vote, and every single woman, young, old, in between, needs to remember what was sacrificed for us to have this right.
I think voting is important because it's part of the democratic process in the country, and do your due diligence and your research.
Some voters, regardless of party, asked why maps are being revisited in multiple states when redistricting is typically once a decade.
Both sides. I'm disappointed with both groups, Democrat and Republican. What did we come to? We come to this.
There's a major problem with democracy in this country. We're at a crisis point.
Yeah, so you heard that. And this is just so funny to listen to because Democrats would have you believe that this started with Texas. Mind you, and we're going to get into this clip in a moment, Obama and his words on it from years ago, which kind of show it didn't start with Texas. But the argument is that it started with Texas. And so that's why the Democrats, they have to do this in order to even the playing field. But this has been going on for years now. It's been a weapon that the Democrat Party and the Republican Party have used for years now. This is how Democrats were able to make blue states deep blue. This is how they were able to pick up seats in the House. They've used it to their advantage. But for some reason now, I think it has a lot to do with that man in the Oval Office where they got a problem with it. But the flaw in their entire argument is that it was only a few years ago Barack Hussein Obama was speaking out against allowing for redistricting. Funny how things change. But first, let's take a listen.
I think we've got to end the practice of drawing our congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters and not the other way around. Let a bipartisan group do it.
Hey, Virginia. Early voting is underway, and Virginians are turning out in record numbers to vote yes. By voting yes, you have a chance to do something important, not just for the Commonwealth, but for our entire country. By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms. By voting yes, you can take a temporary step to level the playing field. And we're counting on you. Early voting is happening right now. Election Day is on April 21st. So go to iwillvote.com/VA to find your closest polling location. Make a plan, show up, and vote yes, Virginia.
Yeah, and so what we have happening now is the Democrat Party bringing out the big guns. They brought out Barack Hussein Obama to the party. And you know, once they do that, one, they're panicking, and two, they're trying to make sure they could bring this thing home. And so you have the Democrat Party bringing out Obama, and so much so that he's right there in front of everyone's face, pretty much contradicting himself, going against the very thing that he said he was against. And now suddenly it's okay because, well, it's all about stopping the president. And the part that is funny to me is that they're framing it as a temporary fix. Oh, we're just going to do this right now because we want to make sure we can stop Trump. But trust us, come 2030, we'll put it back the way it was. We're going to be able to have a greater advantage to control Congress, but to control the House. But trust us, come 2030, we'll give up that advantage and give it back to you guys to be able to decide how that goes. Yeah, I think anybody who actually believes and takes that seriously has been drinking way too much of the Democrat Party blue juice. Nonetheless, that's not stopping Democrats from trying to convince people that that's what they'll do. And so you just heard from Barack Obama. Now let's listen to Timu Obama, Dollar Tree discount store Obama himself, Hakeem Jeffries. Take a listen.
We're urging everyone to vote yes to stop the MAGA power grab. And the voters of Virginia have an opportunity to ensure that there's a fair national congressional map. Because we believe that it's the voters of Virginia and the people of this country who should decide which party is in the majority in the aftermath of the midterm elections. Not Donald Trump and his extreme MAGA sycophants in state legislative bodies across the country who were ordered by Donald Trump to gerrymander the national congressional map as part of their effort to rig the midterm elections. This effort has failed because Democrats haven't stepped back, we fought back.
All right, that's why they call him Timu Obama. But nonetheless, this is very fascinating to listen to and watch. And what I want to do, I really want people to understand exactly just how far Democrats are willing to go with this and what this looks like when it comes to these maps, what this actually looks like in the real world. And so for that, let's go to this PBS clip where they break down exactly the effects this can have on one community within a few blocks radius if the Democrat Party is able to have their way. Take a listen.
To make the map more blue, Democrats would carve up deep blue Fairfax County. Where I'm standing would be the intersection of 3 congressional districts, so that the apartment buildings over here would be in 1 congressional district, those over there would be in a 2nd, and then right over here, these folks would be in a 3rd congressional district. If you drove just a short distance away, you'd find a 4th congressional district and then a 5th.
That's led to a new Republican catchphrase, "Don't Fairfax me," popping up.
So the reason why all of this matters is because the governor, Abigail Spanberger, she ran on a platform where she didn't believe in gerrymandering. She was against it, or at least that's what she said. Just like she said she was a moderate. Those were a lot of her stances during the election for Virginia governor. And then when she was elected, she pulled the old bait and switch and showed herself to be the true far-left progressive that she truly is. And now Virginians are getting a sweet taste of what that looks like, unfortunately. And so with the clock ticking and maybe Virginians who are upset already with the direction they're seeing their state go in since she was elected, and she doesn't have a favorable rating as far as her popularity. Take a listen.
Well, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger campaigned and won as a moderate Democrat, but just 3 months after a decisive victory, her approval rating reflects a deep divide. New polls show a favorability of 47%, so that's way below her Republican predecessor, Glenn Youngkin. At this time of his term, he rated at 54%.
She has the lowest popularity or the highest unpopular rating of any governor in Virginia in modern history. And she quite possibly is the most unpopular governor in America right now.
Favorable. And then your predecessor, Glenn, was making a podcast run earlier this week to taking a couple jabs at you. I guess overall, on your numbers, what do you attribute that to? And then what would you say back to Glenn?
I would say, if everybody hated me, why is everybody putting my face on their mailers for the referendum?
And so the reason why we're talking about this is because it is that time. Virginia voters can go out and they can let their voice be known and say, hey, we don't like the fact that our governor just pulled the fast one on us. She's now who she said she was. And so, no, we're not going to go along with the Democrat Party and what they're trying to push and trying to dress it up as what they always dress it up with, which is, hey, it's all about stopping Trump because, you know, he's going to destroy democracy and he's going to destroy what this nation is. And so let's turn to Scott Jennings, who has more on that. Take a listen.
People of Virginia ought to vote no on this, if for no other reason than their radical governor flat lied to them. She told them during her campaign she had no interest in partisan gerrymandering. She wasn't going to push this. And it's the very first thing that she did. When I hear Barack Obama say, oh, this will be a temporary redistricting, all I can hear is Barack Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. He lied then. He's lying now. If the Democrats take this map from 6-5 in a 50-50 state to a 10-1 map, and put every congressional district under the control of a Democrat who lives in Fairfax County in Northern Virginia, it will be a travesty. It will be a tragedy for a state that has had a tradition of being a very balanced, kind of a bipartisan, nonpartisan state, and it's going to be run by radical Democrats forever. There'll be nothing temporary about this. And now you have Democrats from all over the country, like Barack Obama and George Soros and Gavin Newsom and whoever, coming into Virginia to try to basically turn Virginia into the national headquarters for the radical left of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and so we're going to find out soon enough how this goes. Did Democrats do a good enough job of convincing the public or convincing those out there that this is all because Republicans wanted to try and cheat? This is all because Texas, They're the ones who started it. We'll find out how quickly, if Democrats were able to actually convince enough people that that's actually what this is, when in reality, it's the furthest thing from the truth. And we're going to find out. If so, Democrats will gain control of Virginia, and it will not go back as they're trying to convince people, oh, it's temporary. We're just going to do it temporary. No. Once they get in control, they will keep it. You have a governor who said she was running as a moderate, told you that that's what she stood on, told you that she was not for gerrymandering. And as soon as she got in office, she said, yeah, you know what? Kind of changed my mind with that whole thing. Barack Obama, speaking, same thing. We don't need to do this. Suddenly, you know what? Now we do. And so now suddenly they want you to believe that this time we mean it. This time we're telling you that, yeah, we're going to put it back the way it was after we gain control. Yeah. I don't believe that for one moment, and we're going to find out exactly what Virginia believes shortly. So those are my thoughts in the update. Now let me hear from you. Drop your comments down below. As always, I appreciate when you guys chime in. Smash the thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Subscribe for more. And as always, until next time.